Hey guys, it's Ian with the Votocycling. I'm here with another deck, basically I guess a deck tech. This one is also control. It's a little, except it's white and blue, or blue and white. I made this deck revolving around 2 cards, of course. Every one of my decks seem to be that way, revolving around 1 or 2 cards, and I thought it'd be fun to make a blue-white control deck. Again, I'm a casual player. I don't play Type 2. I don't play tournaments. So this is a very casual deck. Alright, let's get started. Alright. So the card that I played, that I made this deck around, is this card right here. I really like the idea of bouncing permanents back to opponents' hands, so I thought I would make a deck around, revolving around Cephalid, Constable Cephalid. And so that's what this deck's going to be about. The other card that would go with this combo is Elspeth, Knight Errant. Alright, let's get started, and we'll go through. So since I'm on the blue cards, I don't have that many blue cards. This is really the only 4 blue cards in the deck. And then next will be the white cards. So you saw the Elspeth, 4 Elspeths. I run 2 Luminarch's Ascension. 4 Nevermore, 4 Ghostly Prison, 4 Leyline of Sanctity, 4 Wall of Omens, 2 Norn's Annex, 2 Pithing Needle, and that finishes out the blue, the white, and the artifacts. I do run some multicolored cards. 4 Meddling Mage, and 4 Supreme Verdict. Okay. Okay. As far as the lands go, I run 4 Celestial Colonnade, 4 Glacial Fortress, 7 Islands, and 7 Plains. Okay, that finishes out the lanes. Now I'm going to break down and go through why I run the cards that I do in this deck. Okay, so the dual lands are pretty self-explanatory to help me cast my blue and white spells. The Celestial Colonnade is nice, and I'll go through when we get there. The whole idea is to try and control the board with the white cards, mainly the white cards, and when I do have the board under control or have creatures unavailable on the opponent's side, I tend to try and go in and attack with this. This is a 4/4 Flying Vigilance when you activate it with 5 mana. 1 blue, 1 white, and 3 colorless. And it's nice to have a 4/4 flying that's got Vigilance, so you still have a mana open. It costs a lot to activate, but that's why it's not a major win con, but it can become a win con if that's all you can do between you and your opponent. And the rest of the lands are pretty self-explanatory. They're just basic lands. Okay. Alright, moving on. Supreme Verdict is for board control. It can't be countered when you play it, so destroys all creatures. Pretty self-explanatory. If you have, if your opponents have creatures and they're just getting out of control, try to play this and gain some board control. The Meddling Mage, along with Nevermore are the 8 cards in the deck that really try to control the deck, control your opponent's play by not allowing them to play key cards in the deck, in their decks. So Meddling Mage along with Nevermore are 2 cards that try to slow down your opponent's decks while you wait to get the combo off with the Cephalid and the Elspeth. So yeah, Nevermore and Meddling Mage, very self-explanatory. Try to slow them down by not letting them play certain cards that will pull off their combos. So those are those cards. The Pithing Needle is another card that I use. This has been here if I'm playing against permanents that have activated abilities that are just quite annoying and I don't have an answer for them. I run this in there, or I run this against mill decks. Then I would play this just so I don't get milled left and right. That's why that's in there. Leyline of Sanctity is for against burn or Magrim decks. Pretty much any of my opponents that play decks that target me, I keep this in there so that it's really nice to protect myself directly. Ghostly Prison is another way of slowing down an aggressive deck. So if you're playing against an opponent who's constantly attacking all the time, this definitely will slow them down. That, along with Norn's Annex, are the 2 main cards in the deck that will try and slow them down. Norn's Annex takes a little bit more to cast, that's why I only run 2. But once you have one of these down, it's pretty tough for opponents who aren't playing white to try and attack you. So that's why you only need 2 in the deck. Or that's why I only put 2 in the deck. Wall of Omens is for defense and some card advantage. So that's really the only reason why Wall of Omens is in here. It's a quick 2-drop defender with card advantage. The Luminarch Ascension is for early game with Wall of Omens, where it's a chump blocker, and Ghostly Prison. Though those cards are slowing down, at the beginning of the game you drop this on turn 2 and now you're gaining counters on them, and if the opponent can't attack, if they're not attacking for about 4 turns, you pretty much are all set to activate this every turn to get some 4/4 Flying Angels out. So Luminarch Ascension is really useful in that aspect. I only run 2 because that's not the main attraction of the deck. It's really just there in if I can get through and if I'm not getting a lot of damage, then I'm able to use this for another win con. And then the main attraction is pretty much the Elspeth and the Knight Errant. So generally, I would slow try to slow the opponents down with the Ghostly Prison, with pretty much the rest of the deck is to try and slow the opponents down. In the meantime, you can play this by the Cephalid by turn 3, and then by turn 4, if you have an Elspeth in your hand and your opponents don't have any flyers, the game is pretty much all set. So if they don't take care of your Elspeth and your Cephalid by turn 4, by the time these 2 are on the board, they're pretty much screwed, because now you're basically returning their permanents to their hand every time Cephalid goes through. So that's pretty much the deck. It's pretty simple. It's fun. I believe I've only played this single player, so I haven't played multiplayer, so I'm not sure how it will do multiplayer. I'm pretty sure it would be the target, just like any other deck. So I'm going to do a quick shuffle of all the non-land cards, and then I'm also going to do a quick shuffle of the land cards, and then I'm going to do a quick glance at what a hand would look like. So this is how I shuffle. I shuffle all the lands together first, because nowadays we're running dual lands like crazy. And then I'll shuffle the non-lands cards separately, and then I'll shuffle them both together. And you can do stack shuffling or pile shuffling if you want, but there's no Jace the Mind Sculptor in here, so I'm not going to worry about it. Although the Elspeth is pretty valuable as it is. but I'm trying to keep this video as short as much as possibly can. So we do a little cut here, draw 7. Let's see how the hand looks here. So this is the start of my hand. I got 2 lands. I have a Cephalid and I have an Elspeth, but you know, 3 lands would have been better. But there is a Ghostly Prison in the hand with 2 lands, so hopefully we can slow the game down that way. And then you also have 2 Supreme Verdicts. So we'll see how this runs here. So first turn, draw. I always assume that I go second because pretending to be at disadvantage is always, it will tell whether your deck can come back from it or not. So that's what would be my first turn. My second turn, I drew another land. That's good because then I can play the Colonnade tapped. My third turn, I can drop the Ghostly Prison and slow down that way. And I don't want to drop the Cephalid yet because by the 4th turn I can potentially kill off some flyers already. So now we're on the 4th turn now, and you know, you can play this tailored as you want. If you want to play aggressively, then play Cephalid first. You know, it just depends on what you're playing, what opponent you're playing against. So yeah, so at this turn there's 4 mana. You can either play the Norn's Annex at a Phyrexia 2 to slow down them even more, or you can just pop the Supreme Verdict and kill all their creatures, because you don't have any creatures. And then, you know, the following turn, you can then drop the Cephalid and make that a threat. The Cephalid and the Pithing Needle. So, I mean, that's pretty much a sample of what a hand would be like and how the deck would run. Alright, this is Hand with Votocycling. Let me know if you have any comments. Subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.